Today we're going to be learning about linear equations and linear systems. This will definitely help you with your PFA. So let's get started. We're going to start with linear equations. So this says solve for y. So in order to solve for y, I first need to distribute. So I'm going to take my negative 2 over 3 and multiply it by both the negative 3y and the positive 4. I know that a negative times a positive is a negative. So I know that I'm going to have a negative number. Oops. And I can honestly see and multiply straight across. So 2 over 3 times 3 would give me 6 over 3, which would just give me what? Negative 2. So I have a negative 2 here with a y. Then I need to multiply 2 over 3 times 4. I multiply straight across. 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 1 is 3. So now a positive and a positive equal positive. So now I have an 8 over 3 positive. Did I do anything to this side? Nope. So I'm just going to bring it straight down as is. I want this negative 3y to be completely by itself. So in order to do that, I need to subtract my 11 over 3 from my 8 over 3 because they're both a fraction and they both don't have y's. So right here, these are going to cancel. I'm left with negative 3y equals negative 2y. And if I'm subtracting fractions, 8 over 3 minus 11 over 3, they have the same denominator, so I can just subtract straight across. So what's 8 minus 11? Negative 3. So negative 3 divided by 3 is actually going to give me a negative 1. So here I'm going to have a negative 1. Now we have two sets of y's on both sides, so I actually need to get rid of this 2y over here and move it on over. So I'm going to add 2y to both sides. What am I left with? Here is negative 1y equals a negative 1. And what's the last thing I need to do? Divide by negative 1 to both sides. So y equals negative divided by negative is a positive. So I have y equals 1. Let's try some more. Here's a few more little basic ones for you. So we need to get x by itself. What I do for fractions is I multiply. Now I have a fraction on the top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is flip it upside down. Because look, now both of those can cancel and both of the 3's and the 2's can cancel. I'm going to multiply 3 over 2 by both sides. These cancel, those cancel. I'm left with x equals, what's a negative times a positive? A negative. Anything times 1, it's just itself. So I have negative 3 over 2. Now we have this one here. Do I need to combine anything on the left side? Nope. Negative 6 and positive 4r are two different things, but I do need to distribute here. 2 times r is going to give me 2r. And then 2 times negative 4, negative times positive is a negative. 2 times 4 is 8. And I'm just going to bring down all of my left side because I didn't do anything to it. So now I'm going to see which side has more r's just because I prefer not to have any negative numbers. I know 4r is larger than 2r, so I'm actually going to get rid of this 2r from this side. I didn't do anything to this negative 6 or this negative 8, so just bring them straight down. And 4 minus 2 is going to give me 2r. Okay. Now, move the 6 on over. I'm going to add 6 to both sides because I want 2r completely on its own on the left side. And in order to do that, I need to get rid of the 6. Negative 8 plus 6, if I owe you $8 and I only give you 6, how much money do I owe you? Negative $2. Is r by itself? Nope. I just need to divide by 2 to both sides. So a negative divided by a positive is a negative. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we get -1. Woohoo! Let's try a little bit more challenging now. Just a few more numbers here. So first thing I need to do, the left side I do need to distribute. So 7 times 2 is 14, and the letter E. 7 times a -1, negative times a positive is a negative, which is going to give me -7. I'm just going to bring everything down one step at a time so I know exactly what I'm adding or subtracting. Now looky here, I can combine this -7 and this -3 together because they both don't have y's and they're both constants. -7 and a -3 is actually going to give me a -10. Bring again everything else down so everything is nice and even and I'm not forgetting any numbers. Okay, so I see that 14e is larger than 6e, so I'm actually going to get rid of this positive 6e and subtract it from a 14e because they both have e's and it can be reduced or subtracted from. 14 minus 6 is what? It's going to be 8e. Bring down anything else that you did not mess with or change, anything like that. Last thing, or second to last thing to change is to add 10 to both sides because this 8 needs to be left alone. We have to get it all alone before we can start dividing. 6 plus 10 is 16. If you divide and get rid of this 8 to get e by itself, you are going to get e equals 2. Last one over here, I want you to pause this video and I want you to figure it out and see if you got it right. Now that you've paused it, let's see. First thing you should have done is subtracted 7 from both sides. And what you should have gotten is 3x equals what? 6, yes. The last step you should have done is divided everything by 3 to get x equals 2. Give yourself a little pat on the back if you got that correct. Woohoo! That's me clapping. Sorry. Let's move on. Linear systems. Now this is where this comes in importante. No solution. Remember, these problems, no matter what you put x into, they'll never be true. The numbers on either side of the equal sign will never be the same. These equations will never be equal to each other, ever. The x's will cancel each other out, leaving two numbers on either side of the equal sign that are not the same. So in this example, if I took away 5x from both sides, I'd be left with a -2 and a +6. Those are not the same numbers. Therefore, this is a no solution. My other type of solution that I have is a 1 solution. This one's the ones we've been dealing with. Well, x can only be one number, only one single number. These equations only have one answer, hint the name, one solution. So in this case, if you added 4 to both sides and brought down the 6x and divide both sides, x would equal one single number. That's the only solution to that problem. And last but not least, we have infinite many solutions. These are the super fun ones. It means that any x value that I put in, so any number, 5, 6, 542, -13, any of those numbers, these equations will be exactly the same on either side of the equal sign. So in this case, if the x's cancel out here, I have 4x. They cancel out, and I'm left with 3 equals 3. This is true. This is super true, and it's an infinite solution. So we're going to practice now determining the types of solutions. So sometimes you'll get questions like this. Which is infinite many solutions, or which one has one solution? So the things you actually need to do is actually solve them out. So I have 4y. A negative times a negative is a positive. 30 times 4 is 120. Bring everything else down that you did not move, touch, combined. Alright, so I need to combine the y's first, so I'm actually going to move the negative 4y to either side. Oh no, these cancel! What type of solution is this? No solution. This isn't even an option. They're not even the same number. But we're looking for infinite many solutions, so that's not one of the ones we want. Over here, what we can do is combine a negative 25 and a positive 35z, because they both are variables and they have the same. 25 and 35 is actually going to give me a 10z. And don't forget to bring down the positive 1. And bring down your 10z plus 1 too. Oh my goodness. Can you guess what this is going to be? If I subtract 10z from both sides, I get 1 equals 1. So is that infinite many solutions? Absolutely, 100%. And if you tested out the other ones, this is what you would get. So you would get 1 solution for B and 1 solution for D. Pause at any point to look through the process. So now we're going to determine the types of solution. So we're going to start with this bottom one here. What we're going to do is we're going to combine any y's that we can together. I have a negative 15y and a positive 17y. If I combine those two together, what am I going to get? 2y, a positive 2y, because a negative outbeats a positive, especially if it's larger. So I have brought everything down. I need to move this orange 2y to the other side by subtracting it. What I'm going to be left with is 7 equals 70. Are those the same number? Absolutely not. So what type of solution is this? No solution. Make sure you put the slash through the equal sign. Now for our next one here, I need to distribute the negative 4 to the x in order to make sure it's expanded and I know exactly what's going to happen. A negative times a positive is a negative. 5 times 4 is 20. And I'm just going to bring everything exactly straight down as I found it. I need to move this orange x over to this negative 4x over to the other side. So I'm going to add 4x to both sides. What happens to them? Oh darn, they cancel. But I get left with negative 20 equals a negative 20. What type of solution is this? Not one solution. Infinite many solutions, you're right. Sweet, you know your knowledge. So, we're going to take a break from here, and we're going to move on to what is the solution of the equations. So get ready for part D.